I was like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why are my friends not going through this? What is this? Why did it? Just so many whys. And then there were times where like, I just want to take my womb out. I just don't care for kids.
Grownish, smartish, British.
We are British, apparently.
Are you clapping that time? Yeah, that's why you're saying it behind the camera. Don't you dare. Latoya! So are you Latoya B? Is this like...
Just Latoya.
Because I heard a couple of references of Latoya B.
Where? Online?
Yeah. Can I introduce you as Latoya B? Hi guys, this is Latoya B. So, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
It's been like forever.
Like
years.
8, 9 years? Let's
Relax.
just say 10. Let's round it. Yeah, let's round it to 10.
But you know what? It shows you how much social media makes you feel like you're connected.
Yeah.
Because I watch you all the time. And like I told you earlier, I look at you, I'm like, nah, this girl's buff, man. I'm like, mashallah, such a win. She's buff. Like, yeah. Does that make you feel awkward?
No.
Good.
Before it used to, and I used to be like, but now I'm just...
I want to be like you.
Because I'm doing so much of this, talking, and yeah, I just have to embrace it. And
because sometimes it is hard because like you're advocating for something and sometimes you're not feeling yourself, because that's what I'm guilty of. I'm just like, yeah, self-love is so important, and I'm like, I don't like myself.
Yeah, there's some days I'm just like, it's overwhelming, especially if I put out a post. You get people arguing with each other in my comments, but not with me. Everyone agrees with my post, but then someone says no, or
yeah.
So it can be overwhelming, especially women that message me, DM me, talking about their really personal things that I actually haven't gone through. So it's hard
to like align your energy to that.
So yeah.
So for those who don't know who you are Latoya B, founder of woman, you know, founder of Womb Bae. Pull up, guys. No, it's the I do one take. It is what it is. So sis. So you're founder of Womb Bae, and you started that during lockdown 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
And what made you do this?
So it's from my personal experience of suffering with fibroids. I was diagnosed in 2015.
Okay.
I had period pain. From when I was young, I used to have like really bad period pains and just fainting, vomiting, and just always having cramps. And I didn't know what it was. Kept on going to the doctors. Yeah, you're fine. It's just normal. You're growing up. It's just this. Let's say this was when I was 16.
Yeah.
Take this pill. Take this contraception. Take this. It did work at the time, but as I got older, I think as your body changes, I was just rejecting all of those things. So it got worse. I was like 20 something, can't even remember. It's just so long ago. Well, 2015 ain't long, but at the time.
Yeah.
And then I found a bruise. So basically I bruised inside. Yeah, everyone makes that face. From the inside out. It was green, purplish. And this was when I was on. And I said to my doctor, like, seriously, there's something wrong, because how can I be bruising? And there's me thinking I'm bleeding internally. Like, I was just going crazy. Went to the doctors. He saw and he was like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me refer you. So it's like, it had to take me to bruise for you to understand what was going on with me. Yeah. Although I was complaining about cramps. So it was a bit of gaslighting in the beginning.
Okay. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
No, that's fine.
From that, they said, he referred me to gynecologist at the St. George's Hospital in Tooting. Went there, she did the scan, and she's like, oh my God, you have a fibroid. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So because Womb Bae basically is about awareness, right?
For women with womb conditions. So that's fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, ovarian cancer. There's so many of them.
Amazing. We're going to get into everything in much detail. But we start every episode with a quote. Do you remember your quote?
Yes. Life changes.
Why is that your quote of the week or day or year?
Because life does change. And I was at that point of my life where I didn't understand anything. Going through that, I felt I was depressed. But at that time, I didn't know I was depressed. But looking back on it, I was. And mentally, physically, especially my body changed, everything. And then I'm here today, and I've done so much since doing Womb Bae. So yeah, life changes, and that's that
nice.
quote.
No,
I want to get a tattoo of
that.
Hopefully my mum don't see this.
Just I put it somewhere she can never see it. Just like your bra line. It's just good luck. Apparently that hurts. But not that.
So yeah, I just love that quote.
I appreciate that. My quote of the day is, comparison is the thief of joy. And I think it's because we're all guilty at comparing ourselves to other people. Whatever it is that you want, and what we're looking at that person is that, firstly, you don't know their journey, you don't know their story, so we look on the outside. And it's just like you're destroying your own journey by always comparing us to someone else. And it's okay to go through your journey, it's okay to feel what you're feeling, and accept that maybe either it's not your turn yet, or God's time is God's timing. And also you don't know really what the narrative is. So it's just like accepting that everyone's journey is different, and try and embrace literally everything that's happening, the goods, the lows. These are all connected into shaping you into who you are today. And also that same person you're looking at is looking at someone else, or even at you, hoping to have something that you have. And it's such a shame, because it's nice to celebrate each other, but then when you're really comparing and critiquing yourself so heavy, or even critiquing them on a negative point, it's just like, what are we really serving here right now? I heard someone talk about it, and I'm just like, I'm so guilty of comparing myself to people, and sometimes it can be soul destroying. So growing up as a child / teenager, what narrative did you have in regards to like what a woman looks like, what womanhood looks like, I guess, based on what you've seen?
I've had a couple of role models within my family, especially obviously my mum. And from being young to now, she's sacrificed a lot for me and my brother. So I guess in terms of that, a lot of sacrifice. Maybe things that she wanted to do but she couldn't do because of me and my brother. So I always, like, people always ask me my question, who's my role model? And I'm just like, my mum. There's no, when people say celebrities, it's my mum, because I've seen her been through so much.
I think that matters a lot. That carries much more weight than a celebrity. And
even doing this Womb Bae thing, in our culture, in the Ghana culture, well, African and Caribbean, sometimes it's a taboo subject anyway. So it's very much like, oh, you shouldn't say that or whatever. But she actually just sat down. She said, I love this idea. Are you ready to tell the world that you went through this? Because she's all for it. And I said, yeah, mum, I'm fine. And she said, okay, that's fine. If you're comfortable and ready, do it.
Whereas
that's how she is. If it was another parent, I guess it'd be like, don't tell anyone this and don't tell anyone that until you have kids. Yeah, but it's no shame, because if I hadn't released or told my story, a number of women wouldn't have. And now women are comfortable in talking about their, what's gone wrong with them, or what they're going through, especially celebrities. I won't say the celebrities, but I've had a lot of friendships. I've made a lot of friendships.
That's amazing.
From DMs and
so
stuff.
Basically you've created a safe space of women to be able to unpack.
And it's not just black women, it's Asian, white women. Womb Bae is very diverse. It's not just focused on black women.
So when you told mum about your situation, when did she know much about it, like culture-wise?
Do you know what was funny? Because when I told her, she was like, but no one in the family has fibroids. And then when I spoke to my dad, he was like, well, your mum had it. I was like, mum told me she never had it. So what are you talking about? But she never had it. I think, none of my aunties on her side, but I think it would be from my dad's side, but they never said.
So it's genetic?
Yeah. They say it's not genetic. It's apparently it's something. One of my parents, someone must have picked up a virus when she was pregnant with me, or something happened. That's what I've been learning and research. There's so many research. No one actually knows how it all started and triggers. But talking to my nutritionist, she said it starts off as a virus, and then obviously it's in us until we start eating certain things that triggers and grows it, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. Because I mean, in our culture, I reckon, so fibroids especially is actually quite high in Arab community as well.
Oh, is
so
it?
North African, because we're the same when it comes to the concept of food, and but we take in everything is very heavy in the meats
and oils.
But I think what I've noticed in a lot of our cultures is that like these things just aren't spoken about. Like you said, don't say anything until, like some people say don't say anything until you get a husband. It's just like because someone might not want you, or you know, they'll have their own assumption, or they might think you're not, you know, woman enough, or whatever it is. So it's just like, so I think a lot of women probably have gone through it unaware that they have it, unless it's something's like gone really bad where it's, you know, overgrown or burst or whatever, where they've had to address it. But I think what you mentioned earlier, which we're going to go to, is that you mentioned how like for ages you complain about, you know, your period pains being really heavy, and other symptoms. And I think a lot of women growing up have experienced things, and it's like the doctors are so easy to dismiss it, possibly because they're used to hearing it so much.
And that's the thing, hearing it so much. And in regards to like what you mentioned about people getting married, I've noticed a lot of women, when they become married, obviously they're trying for a kid, and they know that they went through fibroids, but they haven't told their partner. So then obviously the difficulty of trying to have a kid can somehow start from that. It doesn't, I'm not saying that it's every woman there's something wrong. You have to look at the men too. And sometimes women find it hard to tell their men, let's both go and get checked out. Sometimes it's, in our culture, is very much, oh, she can't have kids, no, but you never know, it might be the man.
No, I know firsthand men, and I'm watching this program at the moment on Sky. It's called Making Babies. It's Alex Jones, I think she's I don't know who she is, but basically she covers an IVF clinic. And then every story is so different. And then this episode I watched today was about how men being infertile, which is something some men are completely oblivious about. And it's just like,
and some are in denial as well.
That's it, they must be the woman. Like there are so many like cultural issues where they'll say, well, you know, it's because she comes from this family, or because she's this, or she doesn't eat enough of this. Like do you know, like if you want to have a girl, you make sure you're doing or eating certain foods, or and it's just like,
it's crazy,
where is your science? So unfortunately I like, it does happen where people will either put a stigma around you and potentially write you off, and that's quite scary. Like, and I think a lot of women maybe take their body for granted, and I experienced that through premature labor. So my son being born premature, it's like, my thing is a lot of women take pregnancy for granted. They just say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be, you know, cute and pregnant, and then at 40 weeks I'm gonna feel like a whale and just give birth, not realizing there's so many intricate details leading up to birth. So in your world, there's a whole set of things that I take for granted because I've not experienced it. And it's just interesting, like listening to your stories and my friends as well, because I remember listening to, I think, a pod that you did, and one of your symptoms was passing out. So was how young were you when you started passing out from it?
I was like 16. But I just thought, and then that's the thing, I became used to it. Every month, it was like, it would change. It's not every month I'll pass out, but it's like I vomit, and then you're rolling on the floor because of pain. And I just thought that was normal. And I was like, next month, it's going to be like that. But then researching and doing all of this is not normal. But unfortunately, we go so many years
without knowing. Accepting. I know,
I went
actually.
for like 10, 16, so I'd say like 8 years, like just going
riding
through this. Riding. Literally.
Because my friend also, shout out to Fizz, she used to co-host with me on this pod, and she actually randomly passes out from her periods. And I don't know if she's had it checked, I can't tell, but we've spoken about it on the pod before, which is why I'm talking about it now. And it's just like, she has to like be prepared at any point to get off a train or do whatever when she feels it coming.
It's a mental thing, because even before that, the surgeries, I had to plan my period around events, birthdays, and that's crazy. Like my friend would be like, I'm having a birthday, okay, I'm due on this. In my mind, obviously I won't tell them, but in my mind it's like, I'm able to make it, and they'll ask me why, because I just know on the first day is fine, on the second day I'm dying.
Game over.
It's game over. So they didn't understand, even my cousins, no one understood until Womb Bae started, and I proper started sharing my story. And then because they used to be like, she can't come out, and then there were some comments, I don't know, I can't even remember but it would be like, she's always on her period, and no.
Or it's not that deep, because they have periods. Especially as women, it's like, as much as we want to be empathetic, it's like, girl, relax, man. I get cramps too.
And they were like, I get cramps too. And I said, no, your cramps and my cramps are two different cramps. So it was very much like that. And after that, and I explained, someone was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you was going through this, because I spoke about depression and mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, because when I asked you also about growing up, is that when I was growing up, the only thing really I was taught about womanhood was, obviously, you're a mother, you're a nurturer. One day you're going to finish education, go to higher education, then you're going to find a husband, get married, somehow you're going to miraculously own a house, and you're going to give birth to like 1 million kids. That's what we do. And it's like, no one tells us the in-betweens. No one tells us about the heartache. No one tells us about, you know, feeling like whether you're worthy enough, good enough, dealing with how cruel the world is, not realizing you got required to save. And then actually every woman's body is so intricately different, and there's no guarantees, but they put so much emphasis on, when are you gonna get married now, when are you gonna have kids now, and it's just like, now it's hard. Like I'm very mindful when I ask these questions, because I want to ask out of love, but I'm just like, to that person receiving that question could be a breaking point for them.
Literally. And I do stress this on Womb Bae, like when I do reels and stuff. Just be mindful. Because in our culture, a lot of aunties, when are you going to get married? Your cousin is this, your cousin. And I'm like, that's them. This is me. Like, I'm not fussed. Like, yes, I would love to have children one day. And the thing is, not that I can't have kids. It's just I was going through this turmoil in my life, and I haven't met someone that's yet properly to do all of those things with. So everything, like, and most of the now they know, because obviously I've done Womb Bae, so all my aunts and everyone else out there. So but now no one comes to me and asks me these questions. They're more like helping me. They're more like, like my auntie the other day, she was like, Lat, I found this and I think you should do this, and everything she told me I'm already doing, but I didn't tell her. I was like, oh auntie, no, that's, thank you, I appreciate it. And it's just like, I get those. Sometimes my brother, my sister-in-law, everyone's very supportive. And
you're having to like go, I've been doing this, but thank you so much.
Even my daddy's in Ghana, it's like, yeah, Latoya, there's these herbs, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, don't worry, I'm
but
already
they're down with the kids now. They're down with the message, and that's the main thing. It's better than them just, you know what, going, just get over it. Because if you didn't have such a supportive family, like you said, you'll be met with, well, just try this, or, you know, just don't worry about it, just pray on it. And it's just like, but then sometimes you've got to accept, you know, there are ways to navigate, and we've got to be mindful. I read this thing where it says, there's a study that a lot of women, so you went 8 years before you raised it, and on average a woman will probably deal with any symptom for around 3 years before, like, it just shows you us compared to men, it's like mad, because they get man food and they're like whereas of us, like, we will literally bear the pain for 3 years minimum before we even speak up about it. What made you think, okay, so it was a bruising that made you think, that's it, I need to go?
Because the thing is, the pills and everything were helping, but it was just a bruising. I said, then if there's a bruising, there's actually something deeper. So then I showed my mum, and she was like, you need to call the doctors, because this is insane. So they did that, and it was just so sore. Even thinking about it, I feel a shiver. And then they did all of that, and it was in my pregnancy sac. So most fibroid tumours, they can say, it can go away by itself, it can get smaller, just start changing your diet and stuff. And at that time, I didn't even have a bad diet. Just specific food now that I know. So when that happened, they were like, you need to take that out because it's in your pregnancy sac. So they asked me, and they do ask you, do you want kids in the future? And I said, yeah. And they're like, we need to take that out, because if you don't, it could grow. If you do become pregnant, you'll have multiple miscarriages. So that's something that I was like, just take it out. And it was just the one.
So how old were you when that happened?
How old was I? It was like 24, 25.
Okay, so what the average 24, 25-year-old is just living their best life. You're there, talk about surgery and like life-changing opportunities, unfortunate ones.
So that happened. It was a good team again, St. George's 2 in, and then 3 years later, I started getting symptoms again. So I've had 2 surgeries.
Okay.
So I had so it was a laparoscopy surgery, which is keyhole surgery, which they put, they put the camera in your belly button and they make an incision and then cut it away. So and then so 2018 I started feeling the symptoms, but these were even worse.
Okay.
So it was like blood clots, heavy coming out. I became anemic, started losing my hair.
Oh wow.
like falling out, but not chunks, but it's just like losing because of the iron, isn't it? I'm losing a lot of blood.
You're not consuming, not retaining.
Yeah.
So
went again. They were like, yeah, you got about 4 or 5, and I'm like, oh my god.
By that point, between the first surgery and second surgery, had you changed anything about your habits?
I did. I wasn't eating dairy much anyway because like skin acne, stuff like that. But it was mainly like the red meats, so I had to stop that. Yeah, red meats, and just started eating more vegetables, which I did anyway, salads, but literally making that my foods.
That's your main, your primary thing. Yeah.
So I made changes, but they say that when you have your first operation, it opens doors for others to start growing. But they never told me that.
I was gonna say,
I was so desperate because I was like, I'm in so much pain, all this bruising, just take it out of me. But they never mentioned that until you start reading properly. So during that time, I read. They were like, do you want it? And there was a big one in my uterine wall, so that was making me bleed. It was against some of my organs. Oh wow, it's crazy. Yeah, you can have fibroids anywhere, your back, your side. Mine. But
are they predominantly usually around like the womb area? Okay.
So then I took that out again, the same, but then they had to go back into the same belly button and incision. So that recovery took longer for me. Okay. Because they've gone back to the same place.
Even though it's been a few years. Wow.
Yeah. So then I did that in 2019. And lucky for me, just before the pandemic, because whilst healing in the pandemic, that's when Womb Bae came to my mind. Because I used to write in my journals and stuff anyway about how I felt. And then one day I just sat there and I was like, I was looking at women's stuff, but there were so many in America. And I was like, there's not much in London. Like UK, someone that can relate to me. And I just, what I did, you know what I did?
You birthed it.
I birthed it. And then I just did like a quick logo. I told my cousin I'm going to just pull it out there and just say coming soon.
Yes.
Then I have to do it. That means I have to
Accountability is there.
So I did it. Yeah. Everyone's like, what's this, Latoya? Just DMing me. I'm like, just wait.
Patience, my dear.
Patience. So when I put that out, I was like, I have to do this. And it's the best thing that I ever did. I'm meant to do it.
That's good. That's your calling.
That's how I believe. Yeah.
And it's your passion, because this is something that means so much to you, and you've had to, I guess, learn the very long and hard way. Yeah. Because you've had to teach yourself, you've had to educate your family, you had to educate your friends, deal with like the backlash of lack of understanding and knowledge, and you're now paving the way for people to go, well, you can have a read of this, and you've just created direct access in a community, I guess.
Yes.
So back to the GPs and the doctors. How many times do you feel you had to kind of go back and forth with a GP before you were taken, I guess, seriously? Because you said you kind of felt a bit dismissed. And
I think the whole dismissal was it's just period cramps. I think it's the beginning. But in terms so basically from the whole bruising thing, they did it swiftly.
Nice.
So I congratulate. I would never bash the NHS because they've done amazing for me. So it's just that in the beginning it was just a lot of gaslighting, but that from the GP, not the gynecologist.
Yeah.
So since then, even my second surgery, they were on it. I didn't have to wait much longer. Maybe they'll cancel me and say like a doctor's going on annual leave, and that's what I'm saying. That's life. He has to go on holiday.
Life continues. Yes.
So came back. To be fair, the second one, my iron was low, so they won't do it. They won't touch you if your levels are low.
As in they won't do surgery?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to go back a week, take the tablets, and then came back. That was the only thing to have my surgery, and then I was fine. Yeah. Nice. They did leave little small ones because they don't like to tackle those small ones.
Kind of almost leave them to sleep, basically. They're minding their business.
Just in case, like they don't want to cut a tissue or just, it's because it's a hard place, but they do say you can naturally get rid. Okay. Which I managed to do.
Amazing.
By myself, with the herbs and everything that my dad was
the herbs.
And then change of diet,
So what would you say to a woman, because I guess I'm guessing loads of women are experiencing some sort of symptom or the other. How would you say they should treat their situation and feeling not empowered to step forward in the GP and feel confident, if they don't feel comfortable about, because the truth is, we see our doctors and our nurses and the whole system as people who are more matter of fact than we are. They're knowledgeable, they're experts in this area. So when doctors give us facts, we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And if we're not a strong character and we're kind of like self-doubting a lot, it's so easy to just take that information and go, okay, I guess this is it, and just live your life with
and
it. So
do that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we like empower ourselves when it comes to dealing with this and actually being able to hold your side down properly?
I always say, when you initially go to a GP or doctor, listen to them, let them give you that information. If you're not satisfied, go for a second opinion. And it's always a second doctor's opinion that kind of puts a stamp on you, and you're like, no, I'm gonna, because sometimes they can say something different. You know what I mean? So I always
100%.
say, if you're not satisfied, find another doctor. And this this happened last week. A girl I saw on Instagram, she was saying something about her cyst, and they were delaying her surgery. They said she had to wait until like 4 months. So I said to her, go and get a second opinion. I think someone forwarded her my page, and then she messaged me, told me about everything, and I said, just get a second opinion.
Yeah.
This was last week, you know. She got the second opinion, and then a few days ago, she had surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. She was like, Latoya, thank you so much.
That's
I know her already, but obviously I didn't know her story. Until she was just had enough. And you know, people put on Twitter.
they
So she just had
ran.
enough. And then obviously people forwarded the page. So now she's had her surgery, and I said, just take time.
Shout out to you.
You know, I just always say,
Honestly.
but
it takes one very confident person to kind of empower another person.
Yeah.
And when you know your rights, especially in this environment that's very alien to the next person, it makes them feel like, okay, cool, I can walk in and I can do this with chest. And I know like it takes a lot for you to like really find your bearings and to be able to maneuver. So salute to you.
Thank you.
So statistically, 1.5 million women have
That's a lot.
endometriosis. I don't, God forbid I ever have it, I'll be useless. And 1 in 10 women experience polycystic ovary syndrome. And infertility, there's 1 in every 7 couples who are actually struggling to conceive from, I guess, the woman's perspective when I'm looking at stats. And with fibroids, in your case, which is what you had, right? It's one in 3 women that experience it, and it's 3 times higher in Black women. And then I went on to do more research, and then I found that actually it's also very high in the North African and Middle Eastern community. So I'll leave you to pave the way to why it's higher especially amongst the Black community.
Just diet. That's just that one word, diet. Before I didn't understand, but it's diet, because I guess our white women, I guess they don't eat the foods that we eat, and that's the oils, the meats, there's just so
very
much
rich
foods with a lot of oils. And that's what's killing us, basically, in terms of that side of things. So that's what I've researched, mainly the diet. And it's only last year I actually got a proper nutritionist, and she did we went through everything. I didn't even need to do a blood test. She just knew that obviously it's from our, you know, our background.
Culture,
and these are the foods that I shouldn't be eating. So we did a plan and everything. And I've just taken it from there. So everything I was doing anyway, she was like, perfect. But then she added more stuff, which
just
I was gutted.
Changes. Oh, no. What's been the hardest part? The hardest sacrifice?
Eggs.
Sis, honestly. When I was reading your post about eggs, I'm like, no, go away.
And when I do that, people are like, no, so we have to eat air. And I'm like, is that real? Like, if you really want kids, then there's so many things you have to sacrifice. And I took that from my mum, sacrificing things for her. And this is what I have to do for me. So I was like, the red meat, I haven't eaten red meat in like 8 years anyway. So that's nothing to me. But it was like, it's recently, since October, eggs. I love a scrambled egg.
Listen, I'm an egg fiend. Anyone looks at my post, they're like, Hebz, you're forever cooking eggs. And I'm like, yep, you can cook them in so many ways.
But then I got reactions. Is it withdrawal symptoms or whatever? I started getting rashes. Because I think my brother ordered egg fried rice and I completely forgot. because I don't have eggs in my house. So I had egg fried rice, and then
It's in the title, sis. It's in the title.
he just got it wrong, and I was like, George, you meant
bless.
to, yeah. So
Yeah.
when I ate it, I just started itching. I was like, is this so? I called my nutritionist. She goes, yeah, those are the side effects. If you have one, those are the side effects that you could have.
So you don't even enjoy them anymore now?
Yeah.
That's kind of a blessing. So shout out to your bro for having that, because if you didn't experience it, you'd have been like, let me just try one more egg, and then or you've been craving it the whole time, thinking you're missing out.
Yeah, and dairy's the killer, they say.
So I've not read much about dairy. So how come when it comes to this in particular, like these I guess diagnosis, why is dairy linked to the?
They say it's more of a bloating thing.
Okay.
And women with womb conditions shouldn't be bloated because it makes their symptoms worse and it causes a lot of inflammation.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause I know bloatedness is a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
But, yeah.
And combined with...
So it's applying pressure,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah. So they say, so even that, I drink oat milk, which is the Oatly kind, but then organic one. So I don't drink the grey. I'm very specific. I don't drink the grey or the blue one. So it's the other yellowish one.
So it's very specific, literally.
Yeah.
How supportive have your family been when you told them you're going to switch up the diet, remove the meats, remove everything?
Yeah, they were fine. Like even my mum's taken on that
So
because she has arthritis.
okay,
Again, that can be linked with the dairies and things like that. So yeah, she's been fine. Everyone's kind of on it, and
That's
then people
good.
will just call me like even my friend, you know her, you know she's jokes.
yeah.
She called me. She was like, Latoya, I really want to eat cheese and jalapenos too. She goes, I've been eating it every day, and I'm like, she goes, is that good? And I was like, obviously
bless her.
you're fine. Like,
Is this Valerie?
no, Sylvia.
Don't lie.
I was laughing, and I was like, yeah. I said it's fine. Obviously, eat it moderately, but I said you're not going through, so it's fine. But I love it because they would just, shall I do this? Shall I do that? And
They're
and
turning to you. That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
So everyone's been really supportive, and yeah.
I think we've come a long way, because I think possibly a few years ago, when even to this day, I mean, there's certain aunties and certain family members, when you tell them you're going to become vegetarian or vegan, they're like, what's this nonsense, man? Just have some chicken and stop
it's only
complaining.
my aunties in Ghana, my mum's sister, I absolutely love her. Obviously I'll be like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. She goes, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, you just
You're
don't get
wasting
it.
away. You have one life.
You just don't get it. But
Yeah.
being in Ghana for 2 months and staying with her like back and forth at my house and then hers, she realised, and I just said it's just certain foods I can't eat because and all of them want me to have kids and stuff, so they're supportive. Yeah, so it's good.
That's fair enough. It's hard because I think the issue amongst especially ethnic minorities, first generation in the UK and back home, it's we've lived this life the whole time.
Yeah.
Now this Western side wants to change it. What actually you've lived this life, but you've also suffered, but never really connected the dots. And now you have the ability to connect the dots, and we're just like, oh no, it's fine.
But now it's getting worse back home because more of the westernized foods are coming into
Or the
places like
processed
Ghana,
stuff.
Nigeria, or the processed stuff. So now they're developing fibroids and all these womb conditions.
So do diets improve all the other types of
yeah, everyone has their
symptom?
own specific, but most of the foods is for all of them.
Yep.
If you get what I mean. Yeah. So definitely have to stay away from inflammatory foods. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And how has your diagnosis impacted your life? I guess you had a journey. So I guess how did it impact your life initially, and where are you today?
Initially, I didn't understand it. I was very confused. I was like, why is this happening to me? Can I have kids? Immediately when they told me, I was like, I'm infertile, I'm barren. You just think of those negative, and it's
extreme circumstances. Yeah.
So you just think negative. And even the first time my brother's fiance was pregnant with my niece, Amali, you've seen her. Yeah. And when I told them, they just felt so sad because to them they didn't understand too. It doesn't mean you can't have kids, but then as we've gotten older, it's like, yeah, you're fine, like. And even then my younger brother had a kid, and it's like everyone was treading lightly to tell me. I was like, you don't in relationships. I want to be in a relationship. I don't want to be by myself raising a kid. So that's amazing. Yeah, but I get it. They obviously love me, care about me. So they're very like cautious of how to tell me.
They're mindful.
Yeah, and they were like, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got another niece or a nephew. And it was just amazing. So they've understand.
But what are they saying this because in the back of their mind, they assume that you'll definitely not be able to have children?
Yeah, because as men, they just didn't understand. Obviously, now I've gone older.
Now they put it in your face. They're like, and what?
Yeah. Exactly.
She can handle it.
I can handle it.
So how did it affect your social life? Like, because I remember you saying that you had to work your social life literally around your cycle.
So funny enough, as the diet started changing, the periods started changing. And obviously having the surgery, so I wasn't bleeding as heavy. I was able to get on with the day, not be in my bed rolling around. It just started improving as I started to know myself, know the problem and things like that. And so it became easier.
But prior to that, before like, obviously, because it's taken you a number of years to know what it is, then trying to get through it and the surgeries and, you know, the pain that came through it. When you were going through that period, did it make you less social?
So I was like in my own world. I was very like questioning God, which I shouldn't have, but it just happens. So I was like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why are my friends not going through this? What is this? Why did it? Just so many whys. And then there were times of like, I just want to take my womb out. I just don't care for kids. It was very like, I'm just over this now. So I was in that dark place. At the time, I didn't see it as a dark place. When I look back at it, it was a dark place. But I was still socializing. You know, we've been out and stuff like that. I was still okay. But then when I'd come to myself, and then I think it just happened every period. Yeah. So after like 5 days, I'm back to normal. But then during the time of my period, I'm like, why is this happening to me?
Because of the amount of pain you're in and frustration, of course.
Exactly, frustration. So
it's interesting because I think some people are very different. So when they deal with hard stuff, they don't necessarily show it. Like when I was going through like my bleakest of depression, no one could ever see it. Yeah. And it's not because I'm putting on this facade. It's just I want to socialize. I want to be out. I don't want to be a homebody. I don't want to be left at home with my thoughts. I would rather just go out and just like try and enjoy life. But then upon reflection, you're like, that was kind of peak. So
it's just like, oh my God, I was really at that place.
But it happens, and I think it's amazing that you're here today to like be a massive advocate for it. So what would you say was the most difficult time for you, or your lowest point that you've experienced, I guess, going through all of this?
That's a good question. Yes, I think my lowest point, I think I put up a post this week about body dysmorphia.
Yeah? Cool. That's one of my questions.
Yeah. After the surgeries, because I had scars, obviously you probably asked me about relationships, but during that time, I was very much, like I didn't love myself because it's like I've been through so much stress mentally and physically that I feel like I lost my mojo because I was very out there, not like that, but I was
she ain't out there, she's just out
there.
You
know, going out, dressing up, like, and then I was just very uncomfortable. Like even Sylvia would say, like, she was like, you're so slim, you dress like you're not slim, like, because I used to wear like crop tops and things like that, and I stopped doing all of that. Obviously I've gotten older and it's minimized now, but I was very much like, no, I don't want to do this, and I'll just wear.
You're so self-conscious,
until like 2 years ago I came back to myself.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is it because you were in the clear and then you kind of allowed to rebuild yourself?
Yeah, definitely. And just started loving myself, and then obviously doing the page, sharing that love to others that have been in a space where I was and they felt alone. Yeah. And just say, I'm here, come.
I've experienced body dysmorphia, but in a different level. So when I read your post about body dysmorphia, I found it very interesting because for me, it was because I've always fluctuated in weight.
Okay.
So when I'd lost so much weight, you probably saw me when I was probably quite at my smallest, I thought I was still size 20. I was still like, in my head, I couldn't see what others saw.
Yeah.
And I became overly hypersensitive to everything, and I couldn't dress the way I should be dressing. Like, Hebz, you know, like I'll make references to my weight all the time, and I'll say like fat girl jokes.
Okay, yeah.
And those who don't know, I used to be big.
Yeah.
They'll be like, you don't have a right to make fat girl jokes. I'm like, boo, I own that. Like I earned it, and I own it, because I've been big my whole life. So when you mentioned body dysmorphia, I was like, this is so interesting, because
a lot
it's
of
a
people
whole world.
felt like you. They were like, they were asking like, are you really? They were like, are you really serious? And I'm like, it's a mental thing, you know. It's not. You see me like up and down and here, but I was battling because of the scars. Like, I've never had scars like that. But they've gone down now. But at the time, I was just like, this is crazy to me. Although no one can see it, I can feel it. I can see it.
It's completely different. It's about you. It's about you. It's not necessarily from a shallow perspective. It's like, once your confidence is knocked, so when you were out there, you were feeling yourself, and you felt confident and kind of like proud of your identity, then suddenly that was stripped away from you.
And I lost weight as well. As slim as I am, I lost weight, and people would see me. I remember one of my boy cousins, he was like, are you okay, cuz? And when I look at the pictures, it's on my page. I'm gonna have to release them again people to see. But I looked very gaunt, and I was like, oh my god, you was all like, but you was not well. It was crazy.
Do you know what's interesting? Because I've always, like, I admire you in so many different ways, but then I also felt like there was something going on with you, but I couldn't tell you what it was. But I could just tell there was something, but I didn't feel like I was like, I knew you enough to reach out. But I just, because you know, everyone's got different energies, and I just felt that. And it's interesting when that came out, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And even to this day, I think until someone experiences it, we never really understand how hard it is. It's just like anything in life. When we experience death, it's like, no matter how much I talk about it, you can show empathy towards me, you can be supportive, but you'll never know what I go through. So what you had to go through, someone might go, well, I've been through worse, or I've been through this, or what I've not.
But it's my own story.
That's your journey, and it shapes you into who you are.
Now we're talking about it, I couldn't talk about it. I used to just start crying, because it's like, I've just gone through so much, and now I'm just so confident in talking about it. Before, it's like, it was so hard, and certain topics I just like don't even mention. But now I'm free to talk.
Did it knock your confidence when it came to you like getting into relationships? Because you're a pretty girl with a banging personality, so you know. The
thing is, it was, I have a lot of guy friends, so they understood everything, and even they'll be like, oh my gosh, my girl is going through this. I didn't even know you was going through this. And then it's like, you've been so helpful. And then they will tell their girl to follow my page or talk to my friend. It's like, she's amazing, her personality. And I've made friends through in terms of myself, if I'd meet someone, I'd obviously get to know them first before I even let that out. And then in terms of intimacy, in the beginning I was so like, I can't do this. Like, it's not, because of the whole the scars. I think I'm seeing my scars, what are they gonna say? And that was my fear, but everything was fine. Like, you have to just show them this is what's going on. If they don't want to understand it, then bye. But the majority of them did understand and were supportive, and again, sending me stuff. Dr. Sevi said this, and there was just so many. And even some of them, like, obviously we're not together, but we're still very good friends because they believe in what I'm doing. They support me. If anything I need, Latoya, you know. So it's been good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Obviously with the stigma of the whole like not being able to conceive and all those things. So before you had the surgery, like in your head, did you ever feel like, oh, is there even a point like trying to get into a relationship? Or were you quite confident that it won't necessarily apply to you?
I was confident because, again, what women need to ask as well is ask these questions. How's my uterus? How's my ovaries? Because they can check that. So obviously they checked the fibroids was just annoying in the annoying places, but then they'll be like, you've got a good healthy size uterus, your ovaries are fine.
Amazing.
So that's what made me comfortable. And women can still have kids with fibroids. It's you will just be high risk, and they'll just keep monitoring you.
Yeah. So I noticed that obviously you didn't just start talking about your fibroids on Womb Bae. You started talking about everything.
Yeah.
Like everything, like from even like stools during your PMSing. Like you uploaded videos of like how your bowels change, and I'm like, my God's going in, and I think it's amazing because these are conversations that people want to have, and they want to.
Because even having your period, sorry to cut you,
you
get diarrhea, and then you have to understand why you're getting a diarrhea. Something I have to explain the ins and out, because no one gets it, and I didn't. So it's like, I'm here to tell you guys what we're all going through, because we're all going through the same thing.
100%, and I love that.
Yeah, and I don't talk about, and I always say to women, you don't have to have any of these conditions. You can still come to the page, diet tips, because we're women, and I'm trying to make our periods lighter. You don't have to have nothing and less cramps, because everyone has cramps. So it's mainly, people think, like, I get burner accounts. Like, I get burner accounts messaging me, and that's fine, because
they're actually asking for proper information. Bless
them, innit?
They don't want to be like, show who they are.
But I always say, just show who you are, because I'm a private person anyway, and everything's confidential anyway. I will never say that this person, like, no. I understand the burner accounts, and I mean, it's better than my burner accounts are trolls. But I'm like, well, you're ugly anyway, or like, what, you know, just, so it's nice to have those burner accounts. Those positive burner accounts, they're good.
No, that's amazing. So you mentioned, obviously, you used to write in your journal, and then that journal then turned into this baby of yours. Did you feel quite alone leading up to that point? Because obviously you felt like your friends couldn't relate to it.
Yeah, so it was mainly like how I felt. Just talking to myself, but in a journal.
Dear diary.
Yeah, dear diary. Marisha, you know, everyone always
says, of course.
Brandy. So every time you wear braids, you're Brandy, and I'm like, so it was one of them Marisha
outros. Yeah. Do you feel like you've now created a community?
Yeah, I have, and it's not even the community. The whole point of Womb Bae was to just share my story and just to touch someone, even if it was a few people. And it's been amazing since. But now it's like, people know me in America, Canada. Like, amazing. I've worked with Coach Jessie. What's her name? Jessie. Yeah. We've done some podcasts and things like that. Queen Afia, I got her book, and then we've been messaging each other. So it's been amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah. I didn't even know it would get that. And then obviously doing the brand partnerships.
Yeah.
Just sitting in my own place. Yeah. Just sitting in my own little world, and people just
How did that come about?
So they were releasing period leggings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they reached out to me. I can say it now because it's over. Yeah. They reached out. I had to do a whole NDA and everything. I couldn't tell no one.
That's it.
So it was in the pandemic. This was like the first year of Womb Bae.
Nice.
Yeah, all these things started coming. Yeah. And then they were like, we love your page. I wasn't even nowhere where I am today, but they just saw something in me.
But it's what you're doing. It's your purpose.
Yeah. And they said, we're doing a campaign, leggings, we're going to send you this, but it's going to be a home thing, because obviously we're in the pandemic, so I had to do everything at home, film, get my brother to like film me. Even my niece was just by my side. Like, I've still got videos of her just doing all these things with me.
She wants to get involved, man.
Yeah. So that happened. So that was like my first paid.
That's amazing.
Because I didn't think about money, you know. I just thought, you
just want to have a purpose, and that's it.
And then it just came, and since then I've just been getting quite a few stuff, and there's something that I'm working in, but when that comes, I'll let you know.
Look at that smile though.
Yeah. I'm just working on a lot of things.
That's good. Yeah. This is exciting.
And then I met a journalist. I love her. Her name's Vanessa Hay. She's an advocate for women that have, for women in terms of miscarriages and things like that. I love her. You can check her out. She's really good. She called me. We did like a interview on the phone. She's a journalist.
Nice.
So we did an article. I was part of it, and it's on womenshealthline.com. Yeah. So I did all of that.
Doing your thing,
yeah, I'm just trying.
Do you know what? As long as you're being authentic to yourself and just doing what you truly believe in, everything will align itself nicely.
And that's what I believe. And like you said, I felt like it's my purpose. Every time I'm talking to God, He just gives me new ideas, and it just works out.
Amazing.
Or then someone just reaches out to me, and I'm just like, okay, good. But this year I really want to get into community stuff, so go back to Ghana. There's a lot of period poverty in Africa, especially Nigeria and Ghana. So I want to be able to raise some funds, go out and just give like sanitary towels, things to help women in that area.
Other things that you can do on a larger scales with like, I won't say government, but like health professionals out there.
Have I done anything? I'm just trying to think because there's so many things
Look at
going
you.
on.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely I'm going to get, because I always talk about the NHS, I want to do something with them.
That'd be
which
amazing.
Again, it will all come by God's grace this year. Yeah.
That's good. I can't wait.
So I want to focus on and just implement just how we could fast track women to see a gynecologist.
To be seen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's sad because sometimes you have to like overly exaggerate and stress the points just to be taken seriously.
That's why I say to women, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to cry on the phone.
That's it.
And it works.
Listen, when I was in labour, cause I was chilling in hospital for 2 weeks after my waters broke.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, he's gonna be born today. If he's born today, this is gonna happen. Like my son was told basically I was told my son's gonna be like brain dead when he's born. But when I was finding contraction, the woman's like, take paracetamol, go back to bed. I'm like, look, I'm not going to be dramatic, but have I complained to you once?
Yeah.
Have I approached you? I've been eating my KFC in the corner, minding my business for 2 weeks. The fact that I'm coming here speaking to you, just because I got a high pain threshold, don't undermine what I'm saying.
Yeah. And
when she checked, she was like, when she put the contraction thing on me, she's like, yeah, next time be louder. Because I was ready to give you paracetamol and just call it a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, or you can just listen to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, some women are just dramatic. I'm like, great, from another woman. This is beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
With everything that you're doing, I think for me, what I look forward to seeing from you more or off is like your cultural taboo, stigma breaking. Like I think, you know, especially amongst the Black community, even like I'm sure loads of Asians and Arabs will also relate to it because there's a lot of things that aren't spoken about. Do you feel like already you've impacted the community when it comes to these things? Yeah,
because they're opening up more to their family, friends, partners. And sometimes it can be overwhelming because the people be like, oh my gosh, Latoya, what you're doing is amazing. Last time it was just so much and I just started crying. But it was tears of joy.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't believe it. You just get so many messages. You've saved my life, or you've helped me. You really changed my life. That's why in the beginning I said that quote, life changes, because it's helping women identify the issue and then dealing with it.
Yeah. No, that's nice. So you've done is it the Black Girl Tech Talk?
Yeah.
Summit, what is it called?
Summit, yeah. Black
Summit.
Girl Talk, yeah.
How was it?
It was good. It was really, really good. I was basically talking about, obviously, my story, Womb Bae. And again, something as well, I'd like to work with women in the corporate world, how they're dealing with fibroids, infertility, miscarriages and things like that. So it was one of them ones, they were students. There were some women and students, and they just wanted to understand how I navigated my life whilst working a 9 to 5. Yeah.
It's a lot.
So I had to explain that. Yeah.
How did you find yourself like, next up, TED Talk?
Not yet.
Is it on the list?
When I watch TED Talks, I'm like, how do you people do it?
Listen,
I can't.
It's
a lot
amazing.
of work. You have to practice. I'm not there yet. Maybe in the next year.
I think practice cool, but I think also when you have a genuine story and a genuine passion,
it will come naturally.
That's it, because it's something that's very close to your soul, and like it's literally your child in the sense of like your vision, what you hope to claim and get out of it, how people are receiving you. It's your energy. It's not, you're pulling off this like really colourful campaign and it looks all cute. It's real. Very real. And I think a lot of women are like, they want to be vulnerable and they want to be educated, but they don't know how to. So it's just like, just think about it. TED Talk.
I'll think about it. No, I'm not ready.
What's been your proudest moment?
That's a good question. Just having the courage to do this, because I was very like, shall I not?
Yeah.
It was just that one go, just do it, Latoya. And I just, I think that's my proudest, just having the courage. Because people have ideas, and it's not just about Womb Bae. People have ideas, and they get put off by someone's comment, and they just don't do it. And for me, yes, there was support, but I was self-doubting myself. Like, what will people think of me? This girl just sharing her business. But it's just not, it's not my whole business. It's just this part of my life that I want to share with you guys and let you know that you're not alone. I've dealt with this and we can all work together. So I guess it's the courage.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Of all the things I've done,
this is it.
That's it.
Do you know why? Because it's been like, it's a massive challenge, like a personal, like we all face our own personal struggles every day that no one sees. Yeah. And it's so easy for you to just carry on writing your diary and going, do you know what, it's fine. I'll just, as long as I got my answers, I'm fine. Yeah. The fact that you went, nah, I want to empower other women. And I think that's how like the female community should move and celebrate each other rather than like bash each other down. But unfortunately, we don't see much of that. We always see the opposite. Or like, oh, she looks cute, but she could be cuter. And it's just like, can we just celebrate each other for a change?
Yeah, honestly. And I've made so many great people. Like, they've become like my friends. I've known people for like a year, and they're just, I wouldn't say the best of friends, but we just get it. Yeah.
But also you serve each other something. And I think people forget that, you know, some people are like, oh, I've got my friends, my day ones. And I'm like, day ones mean nothing. Like, no disrespect, but like, I've got my day ones. But then I'm going to meet people along the way in certain chapters of my life that are going to serve me so much more.
But sometimes the day ones don't understand that.
Yeah, that's fine.
You just, it's okay.
And the thing is, we'll all be left behind. Someone's going to leave me behind the same way I'm going to leave someone else behind. And it's not personal. It's, we need to really serve each other something. And if I can't empower you or equip you with something and vice versa, then sometimes we just got to just keep it stepping.
Even with that, my friends, family, they're all supportive, but I don't expect you to repost my stuff every day. If something relates to you, sometimes I could just be sitting there and it's just a random person I don't even know that I've just come on their page and they've reposted something off Womb Bae, and I'm like, okay, I don't expect anyone to, you don't have to tag me, you don't have to nothing. If you believe in the cause, then I'm happy. That's just what I'm happy with.
I appreciate that. You said on your post, I'm going to always talk about things that people are uncomfortable to discuss. And this was like the plan. What made you put that out there?
Because someone asked me about my followers, which I just didn't care. I was like, why are you asking about followers? It was strange. It was, where was I? I was somewhere, and the guy looked at my page and he was like, you've done all these things with this amount of followers. I'm like, followers, I don't care about followers. I care about giving out the message. So that's what. Was that
in an undermining way or in a sort of like,
I think he was shocked.
Way?
I think he was just shocked. He was like, you're on 5.5 and this is all the stuff you've done. And he was like, what would you do if you get to 10k? And I'm like, everything's just happening as it comes. Like, so I think that's God's what made timing. Me. God's timing. So that's what made me write that message. That I'm just here to do that. I really don't. All I wanted to touch was at least 5 women, and it's been genuine. That's 5,000 something.
No, that's incredible. But then it just shows you like how 2 years you've done tripled or more than that what you anticipated. And I think it's down to your authenticity and your drive.
And before, I didn't used to show my face, you know. It was very much
all this buff face is being hidden.
And then my friend was like, people need to relate to you, Latoya. I did one video and that was it, and then the rest of the posts were like graphics and stuff.
Your first video, the intro.
That one, I'm gonna do another one, you know, for the new people. I was so young there.
Do another one. Let me reintroduce myself.
And he was like, you need to show your face more. When I show my face, then it just,
I think it's important. I think the best thing you can do is, you're not just giving people information, you're also showing your vulnerability. I didn't realize how impactful that was until I started posting about certain things. Like when my son was born prematurely again, the amount of people that reached out flooded my DMs. Like, I'm going through it, my waters just broke, I don't know what to do. My wife's waters, they've been told that the child's gonna be born at this much, what do I expect? Before that, I never heard of premature labor. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, or me speaking about my divorce and other things like that. It's just like, some people, obviously, the burner accounts that I get, they'll be like, shush, and I'll be rude. And others, they'll be like, I appreciate your vulnerability. and I admire your strength and all these other small things. And it's just like, it lets me know that what I'm doing is serving a purpose, and I never want to lose sight of that.
Yeah, that's
with your numbers, don't watch that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care.
No, because you've achieved probably more than someone who's got more numbers and ticks, and so and it's serving your soul.
Yeah, serving my soul. I don't care for the numbers. If they come, they come, and that's it. If the page was to shut, if Instagram was to shut down, I just know that I made an impact on that side of things. I do have a website, but I just have to get
cracking.
Yeah. Do you know what it's just like? You've created it, you've done company's house, you've done everything, you've secured everything, but it's like you're just focused on
relate. It's just like soon come. Because Instagram's so instant and it's so easy and accessible, and like I'm sure you've networked with a lot of women across the world through Instagram. That's one of the beauties of how instant social media is that like just like that, someone can reach your material. And it can be someone so big or someone so little, or whatever it is, and just like you've impacted them, or them just sharing one thing has impacted you. Even
when I reply to DM, people are like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for replying," and I'm like,
I'm
just a normal person. Like,
I'm just a regular. That's
chick.
how I feel.
Like,
yeah.
And they get like, and I'm just like, no, I'm happy to talk to you. Obviously, if I get time, I do get a lot of DMs. So I do tell women to like email me because I'm mostly on my. The DMs is just too much, or your message will just keep going down and down, and I can't see.
It'll get lost.
So
no, I think that's smart. I've, as a result of having that, like loads of women reaching out to me, like it's just allowed me to go into life coaching and being able to help women. And I think that's probably something you might look into.
Might want to look into. And people are saying that Womb Bae should have a podcast, but I don't know.
I think don't write it off. Yeah, you can maybe do a series, see how you feel, of like very specific conversations, and then take it from there.
My brother's like, you need to do a podcast. Like, no one's doing like a health podcast. Like,
well, that's it. There are people who are doing it around the world, but it's not specific, and it's not part of an extension of your products already, or your brand. So I say you go there and do that.
So I will think about that.
Would you do a book? Ooh!
So
okay, we'll just pass that.
That's coming. We'll
July.
Hold tight. That's coming in July.
Literally
coming in July.
Well, hasn't been released.
Yeah.
Damn, you've been busy.
I've been busy. I'm working, putting my head down. You know,
I respect that.
Yeah.
How do you even start writing a book? I'm very curious.
So from my journals.
Really?
Yeah. And then share my story. Then I talk about the fibroids and diets and stuff. It's just a quick one. It's not like my biography, but it's just a quick one.
How did you reach out to get it published? And I don't know how this world works, so I'm genuinely intrigued.
So it's been written, but I've got a graphic designer who's doing the pictures and stuff, and we can go back and forth, and they're amazing. I've made it so cultural, like everything, brown, amazing. White, black, everything. I love it. And then we'll start, she should be finished by then, and then we'll start the process of printing and stuff. I'm going to do a few hard copies and then some online, but then I want the hard copies to come out in July for Fibroid Awareness Month.
So we're having a launch party?
Yeah, and I want to do an event as well. There's just so many things.
That's good.
I'm trying.
That's good. Don't worry, your 9 to 5 soon come disappear.
Yeah, soon
into the background.
Disappear.
I guess the one of the final things I want to talk about is with every issue or every hardship we go through, our mental well-being is also affected and compromised. When it comes to any womb-related stuff, and when it comes to women obviously as well, how can it have a toll on your mental well-being, and how can that look like?
I would say because all of that, because you're thinking so much, it causes stress, and then sometimes you can be in denial. I always tell women, like, do not dismiss your symptoms. You can have the symptoms and you're like, I'll be fine, it's nothing. And then I think it's the stress of it, because you're always thinking, and then you start thinking, oh, I'm going to get into a relationship, am I going to have kids? So that can take an impact on your mental health, and I think that's what I went through in the beginning. Some women can get really, really depressed because it's like they don't know where to start, where to begin, who to talk to, and things like that. So that's why Womb Bae, that platform, is there for women who have questions, and they can just DM me, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I saw your story. What did you do? And yeah, I'll just give them all the information.
What's been the most hardest story you've had? Like where you kind of felt, I remember you said you feel quite overwhelmed at times.
Yeah, the hardest is a lady from Nigeria. Her mother-in-law was doing too much. Why don't I have a kid? Why don't I have a kid? She's like, I'm afraid my husband's going to leave me. That was like, shit, people are really... There's little old me talking about my story, but there's women just going through it and they don't know what to do. And obviously you think, let me talk to my mother-in-law, but she's the one that's putting the more pressure on you. And that pressure is probably making you not able to conceive because you're stressed. Your body's stressed and you're trying to do so many things, and then you're afraid your husband's going to leave you, because sometimes in our culture is very much, if she can't give you a baby, go and find someone else. They don't care. Yeah, so I think that's the hardest. Yeah, that was one of the hardest one. And then another one, a girl came to me and said she wanted to have a kid, but she's got fibroids, but the doctor said she should continue the pregnancy. And I told her no. I said, don't. I was like, have the surgery, remove it, because it's in a problematic place. Obviously she didn't listen to me. Who am I? Listen to the doctors. She came back like devastated, miscarriage. And she's like, I should have listened to you. And I said, no, it's fine, because obviously you listen to a doctor. But
that's the thing, it's back to the matter of fact of...
It's a doctor. I'm not a doctor. It's my own experiences. But I'm sharing what has helped me. And yeah.
Do you feel like you become a doctor? Like, do you feel like you become so medically...
Yeah, I'm like, should I start studying again? But I can't be asked.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll probably do like a nutritionist course, and because I'm so heavily into the foods now. So I think I'm going to take that on. But... if I was to start life again, I'll be a gynecologist.
But you know what it is? Sometimes it's not about starting life again. It's just maybe redirecting life.
Yes.
Because no matter what we go through, it's always like upon reflection or upon like a little bit of wisdom. Yeah. What I would have done differently, but it's never too late to still do it. Because at the end of the day, we're not even halfway through life, like God willing. Like we've got so much ahead of us. And for you to go, can you believe I started in this corporate environment, or I started in this environment, and look what I'm doing now. And it's because as we're getting older, we're discovering our identity and we're constantly evolving from the person that we were like a few years ago.
Yeah. And what works for us as well in terms of diet as well. Certain foods that we used to be able to eat when we were younger.
Yeah, exactly. The intolerance has changed.
People are probably looking at me like, why is she saying when she's younger, when she probably looks... Because everyone doesn't believe my age.
Oh, girl, don't worry. We don't have to expose the age, because they don't know my age. You're a big advocate of self-care. How does self-care look like, and how could it help when it comes to the matters that you speak about?
I just feel like self-care is more of like a peace of mind thing. And you don't always have to show up. And what I mean by that is, you can be going through something, just take time to just reset. Like for example, I had my birthday, 30th December. I did a solo spa by myself. Literally took my journals. I have the Bible on my app phone. I need to get a proper one. This is ridiculous. But yeah, and then I had my journal, just writing, just reflecting on life. And it was like, it was the best birthday ever. Obviously the sauna, massage, everything. And it
felt good.
It felt good. And then the new year was just amazing. And then that's when I got the call for a project I'm working on. And that call was like on the 2nd of January.
Amazing. And
I've already put that on some of my mood board. The year hasn't even started properly. Most of them have been ticked.
You need to start adding more stuff to it.
I need to start adding stuff.
Extensions. But do you know what I think? Another thing is when it comes to being alone, I think a lot of women don't know how to do it.
Yeah, they don't.
We just want to stay busy. I'm sure you know a few friends that will always call you for a motive. Yeah. And it's because they don't want to be left alone, and they don't want to have to kind of reflect. So what would you like, what words of encouragement, I guess, would you say to women to like get familiar? I
don't even know.
How did you get to the point where, or have you always been set up where you're kind of comfortable to be?
Yeah, I've always been by myself. Yeah, because I've dated, but I haven't actually. I've been in relationships, but I've been able to break away from them. Once it's done, it's done. I don't really hold on.
Girl, you cold. I'm joking.
I'm a bit cold.
That's what the guys will be like. Oh my gosh, she's an ice queen.
And people say that.
Oh snap. You just know your lane. There's no point trying to prolong the situation. If it's over, we over.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm tired.
But even like men aside, there are also women who just want to be with the girls all the time.
Yeah. So with that, yeah, like and all my friends have different friends. We all have different. I have my friends, and then other friends, and then So if
different
they're out
pockets
with
there.
them, I'm just like, okay. I don't take it. There's some friends that take you going out with other friends, literally like.
How dare you cheat on me?
And it's like, I can have friends, you know. Everyone has something in common. So I'm just very much. I'm a people person, family person, but I like to be by myself as well.
Okay.
But not all the time.
Okay.
It's just I have moments where I'm just like, I can't be asked. Like, I just want to stay in and watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Or do some research or just sleep.
Yeah. I think
that's what makes me feel better.
I think for people, I guess, who do struggle to be alone, I think it's realizing the benefits of being alone if you actually use it wisely. Because I think the biggest growth you can do is when you stop distracting yourself and you start just embracing your circumstances and going, all right, what can I do to change it? What can I do to evolve? And what can I do to serve myself? And I think many women don't want to have that conversation.
Because I like cooking, just looking on TikTok. TikTok's like my favorite place now.
TikTok, we have a love-hate relationship right now.
Yeah, I just look for like recipes, outfits. You know me, I like my little outfits.
Do you use Pinterest?
Yes, I do.
Are you addicted?
Not addicted, but I go on it.
I'm not on it. But every time I hear people say, they're like, Hebz, the addiction is real. Like, you literally want to keep changing your house like every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
or like,
it has everything. And then TikTok with the spa thing, I went on TikTok to find the spa that I went to.
So
yeah, it's really good. And you find recipes and
I don't need to discover new recipes. I think my weight gain's fine. We'll just stay there. All right, so what are the last bits of I guess with your diet, so we didn't quite touch on the diet. What bits of information can you give to people in regards to what can they do? So like you said, it doesn't matter, you don't have to have issues. I guess we all have some sort of PMS like experiences, like which can affect your hormones, and then it affects your mood, your appetite, your bloatedness. What is it that we can do as women to just simply, I guess, adjust our diets? What are the simplest things that we can adapt to?
Just have to listen to your body and then eat. Because some people eat certain types of foods and they don't feel good. And then there's a reason why you don't feel good, because you're not meant to be eating those kind of things or drinking those kind of things. So I always say that I did mention a food journal.
Yeah.
If you have time, just write down like 1 week what's affecting you or what's making you feel so low. And, you know, so for example, I have people that when they eat, because they say red meat takes about 3 months to deteriorate or whatever.
Yeah, it's wild.
When they eat it, it makes them feel like sluggish and stuff. When my friend stopped eating red meat, because I still eat chicken and turkey. I can eat that. I can eat that, but it's not every day. And salmon. They realized that when they took out the red meat, they were more vibrant and uplifting and eating more vegetables and fruits. Their mood was just much better. But no, like eating like processed foods, taking that out. Again, that's like me. I just realized, I'm much better. Yeah, I still go out and eat restaurants, but I'm mindful. I have to read the ingredients and things like that.
What would you say like the top 5 items I think any woman can remove that will help, like by default?
Definitely dairy.
Okay.
So like cheeses, yogurts and stuff like that. You can have alternatives like vegan, but you have to read it properly. Again, 5 things.
It doesn't have to be 5. You can give me 4. You can give me 3. So red meat,
Definitely
dairy,
red meat, alcohol. Limit.
Okay. Why?
That makes a big impact. There's chemicals in there that triggers inflammation as well. So limit that. I guess, what's the other one? It's mainly those 2.
Yeah.
And rapeseed
And
oil
eggs.
and soya.
Oh, eggs is dairy? Is that
I guess ish. Rapeseed oil and soya products.
Keep away from. Is that the bloatedness? Yeah, I think I'm anti soya.
Rapeseed oil is like a fancy name for canola oil, which is the worst one for us.
Because it's in everything.
Yeah, disgusting. So sunflower oil, olive oil, coconut oil, hemp seed oil, they're all great for us.
Okay, so you're kind of taking a more holistic approach
because
to
it has
life.
helped me. And that's it for now. Unless if you want to go deep, just email me.
I mean, you can give your email out now if you want to.
I can. It's wombbae@gmail.com, and then my Instagram is Womb Bae.
Oh, she went straight for the handles.
Yeah.
God damn.
Just do it now.
Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us? Anything that you wanted to talk about that we can talk about today?
No, I just think the message is just to advocate for yourself heavily. Always ask for a second opinion. Believe in yourself. If you know something's wrong, just speak up. Literally. Nice. Yeah.
So you mentioned a book potentially coming out in July. The Talk of a Podcast.
An event. I'm going to do an event.
Wicked.
Yeah.
And what else is lined up for you?
What else?
Or for Womb Bae?
Obviously I want to do the giving back.
Yep.
And I don't know. Just to work, collab and work with more people.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And brands. So hit me up.
Wicked. Latoya, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming down. I know it's at the ends. At the manor. But we're here now.
Yeah.
I know you already gave out your handles. Please give your handles one more time.
So it's Womb Bae on Instagram, and then wombbae@gmail.com if you'd like to have a chat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable.
Thanks.
And just unapologetically yourself.
Thank you.
Guys, you have been listening and watching Growing Up British. I'm Mama Hebz. You can catch me on I am Hebz on Instagram with a Z, growingupbritish.h also on Instagram, and Mama Hebz on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, tell your friend, tell the auntie, tell the neighbour, and all that jazz. Take care, guys.
Grownish, smartish, British.
We are British, apparently.